I thought my driveway was private property. Then I noticed HOA members measuring every inch of it. They claimed it was perfect for guest parking. I immediately knew they were planning something. Karen showed up with a clipboard and a list of demands. She said the driveway had to serve the neighborhood. I told her it belonged to my property. She smiled and said, "We'll see about that." The HOA claimed my driveway was community accessible, but the property documents told a completely different story. I asked Karen to show me the clause proving her claim. She suddenly changed the subject. I pulled out my original property survey. The boundary line ran clearly around my entire driveway. There was no HOA parking easement anywhere on it. Karen stared at the document without saying a word. That afternoon, I posted a simple private property sign. No parking. No unauthorized vehicles. I thought that would finally settle the argument. Karen had other plans. The next morning, I found HOA members marking spaces along my driveway. They had brought measuring equipment and parking signs. They were preparing the area like it already belonged to them. That was when I decided to take action. I installed a lawful private driveway security barrier. It made it impossible for random cars to enter without permission. Karen immediately accused me of blocking the neighborhood. I simply reminded her that it was my driveway. Karen demanded that I remove everything immediately. I asked her to provide the legal authority for her order. She had nothing except HOA rules and angry accusations. So I told her we could settle it in court. At dawn the next morning, I watched from my driveway. Karen's SUV slowly approached the entrance. She stopped when she saw the barrier was still locked. For the first time, she realized I wasn't backing down. Karen had tried to turn my driveway into HOA parking. Instead, she had forced me to document every boundary and rule. Now the entire neighborhood was watching her plan collapse. And this was only the beginning. At sunrise, I heard several engines rolling toward my driveway. The HOA had brought trucks, convinced they could reclaim my parking area. I stayed behind my gate and calmly watched them approach. They had no idea I had already documented everything. The HOA president demanded that I open the gate immediately. She claimed the driveway was community parking and everyone had access. I asked her to show me the document proving that claim. Her confidence disappeared when she realized she had nothing. I had already called a licensed surveyor to verify the property line. The measurements showed the driveway was entirely on my parcel. The surveyor pointed directly to the boundary markers. For the first time, the HOA president stopped arguing. I pulled out the original deed and the certified property survey. Every document showed the same thing. This driveway belonged to me. The HOA president demanded to see the association's paperwork. Their representative quietly admitted they didn't have anything contradicting it. The neighbors began checking their own property records. Some discovered the HOA had been making claims about areas they didn't actually control. Whispers spread through the street within minutes. The president suddenly had an entire neighborhood questioning her authority. She changed tactics and claimed my driveway created a safety problem. Then she said the HOA had emergency authority over the area. I asked her to identify the exact rule and show me the written authorization. Once again, she couldn't produce it. A police cruiser soon pulled up after someone called for help. The HOA president immediately told the officers that I was blocking community property. I handed the officers my deed and certified survey. They carefully reviewed the documents before saying anything. The senior officer studied the survey line by line. Then he looked toward the HOA president and asked where evidence was. She started explaining, but her story kept changing. The officer finally told everyone that a private property dispute wasn't solved by intimidation. One by one, the HOA trucks began backing away from my driveway. Their entire morning operation had collapsed without a single parking space being taken. The president looked furious, but there was nothing left for her to argue. My property line had settled the dispute better than any shouting match could. I thought the confrontation was finally over. But I knew the HOA president wasn't the type to walk away quietly. So I kept every document, recording, and survey safely organized. Because if she came back, I would be ready for whatever happened next.